Mr. X, how long has Cassius been a black Muslim? Do you know that?
Well, I don't know. Cassius is probably more capable of speaking for himself than any other man in this country.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and that's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
A Negro church near the downtown area was bombed at 10:30 this morning while Sunday school classes were in session. 4 young girls were killed.
There's nothing in our book, the Quran, teaches us to suffer peacefully. Our religion teaches us to be intelligent, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, send him to the cemetery. Look at the American Revolution in 1776. That revolution was for what? For land. The landless against the landlord. How did they bring it about? Bloodshed. You haven't got a revolution that doesn't involve bloodshed. And you're afraid to bleed. As long as the white man sent you to Korea, you bled. He sent you to Germany, you bled. But when it comes time to seeing your own churches being bombed and little black girls murdered, you haven't got no blood.
Very often you'll find a zipper hidden in the arm.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You'll excuse the fact that I'm out of breath, but about 10 or 15 minutes ago, a tragic thing, from all indications at this point, has happened in the city of Dallas.
We all was shocked at hearing of this tragic end of our president. We all were so shocked over the president, we just suspended all public speaking this year.
Malcolm X, second in command of the Black Muslim movement, expressed joy at the assassination of President Kennedy at a Manhattan rally last Sunday. Malcolm said that the killing of the president was an instance of the chickens coming home to roost. In Chicago today, Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the anti-white Muslim movement, suspended Malcolm X and disavowed his statement.
Malcolm X, you were involved in a controversy some months ago with your leader.
Well, I've been silent for the past 90 days because of some statements I made concerning the President of the United States, which were distorted. They were distorted. And yes.
What did you say, Malcolm?
Well, I said the same thing that everybody says, that his assassination was the result of the climate of hate. Only I said the chickens came home to roost, and which means the same thing.
You feel that we're making progress in this?
No. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Cassius' victory in Miami?
I think it was a great victory. He proved he was the best man.
Where were you during the fight?
I was in the auditorium watching the fight.
Right at ringside?
Right at ringside. I was in seat 7.
The enemy wanted him to come out all blasted. They had said that he would listen and would tear up that pretty face of yours. But my Lord myself said no.
Cassius has been following the religion of Islam, Muslim religion, for the past 4 or 5 years. And he's always been the most likable, friendly person in the world. And I think you'll find that all Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad have the ability to make friends with everyone.
You feel your affiliation with the Muslim religion, being a follower of the Muslim religion, had something to do with your winning the championship?
Well, I would say so. My religion is what's the only thing that I can give me credit for pulling me through, because 99 out of 100 seemed to see no possibility of me winning.
Why do you insist on being called Muhammad Ali now?
That's the name given to me by my leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my original name. That's a black man name. Cassius claims my slave name. I'm no longer a slave.
The ABC Radio Network presents Voices in the Headlines.
The Black Muslim movement and one of its chief lieutenants, the fiery Malcolm X, went their separate ways this week.
Since you decided to make the change, have you discussed it with your leader, Muhammad?
No, I did receive word from him that the 90-day suspension that I was under was not to be lifted. I frankly didn't think that I would ever be an active member of the Nation of Islam anymore.
You seem to have had a change of heart in your attitude toward Negro leaders in the civil rights movement. What position are you taking now?
Well, I think that the problem itself is so big that all of the so-called Negro leaders should try some way to forget our differences. I'm willing to forget anything that any Negro leader has ever said bad about me. And as I said earlier, I am praying that they will also be able to forget the many bad things that I've said about them. We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens. Now that we've become awakened to some degree and we begin to ask for those things which they say are supposedly for Americans, they look upon us with hostility and unfriendliness. So our unwanted presence, the fact that we are unwanted, is becoming magnified.
It's my intention and plan to make a tour of our African homeland. And I hope that when I come back, I'll be able to come back and let you know how our African brothers and sisters feel toward us.
Travel broadens one's scope. Anytime you do any traveling, your scope will be broadened. It doesn't mean you change, you broaden. In Mecca, during the religious Hajj, never at any time or any place can you find a wider variety of specimens from the human family together at the same time There were black people, brown people, red people, yellow people, and white people. One thing I noticed about these, they didn't act like the white people whom I had always known. I was studying the situation and I was asking myself, well, what is the difference between these people and those whom I just left in America? Something is different, and it was their attitude. White to them didn't mean the same thing that it means in America. So I was searching to find an answer as to why, and I thought I did. The fact that they had accepted the oneness of God, as does everyone who's on that pilgrimage, had the chain reaction effect of forcing them also to accept the oneness of the human family.
A few days ago, Malcolm X completed a pilgrimage to the Middle East and Africa and said during a Chicago debate that he has had a change of heart about all whites being evil.
There are many of our people who are thinking more deeply and more broadly and are beginning to see the importance of lifting it out of the national context, or out of the domestic context, or beyond the jurisdiction of the United States government. And the only way this can be done is by internationalizing the problem and putting it at a level where it can be taken into the United Nations. And then all of the other independent nations on this earth can involve themselves in our struggle and support us. And the only way by which this can be done, instead of it being called civil rights in the future, we're going to have to label it a human rights struggle, or the struggle for human rights. And I had stated in a newspaper article about an effort to take my life back in January, and at that time the Muslims denied it. Why are they threatening your life? Well, primarily because they're afraid that I will tell the real reason that I'm out of the black Muslim movement, which I never told. I kept to myself. But the real reason is that Elijah Muhammad, the head of the movement, is the father of 8 children by 6 different teenage girls. 6 different teenage girls who were his private personal secretary. The one who first made me aware of this was Wallace Muhammad, Mr. Muhammad's son. And it was their fear that if I remained in the black Muslim movement, and this came into the knowledge of his followers, that they would leave him and follow me. A plan immediately was set in motion to take me down, put me out, and the statement that I made about Kennedy was used as a pretext to take me down. Did you get out of what you take to protect yourself from this threat? I take no steps. I have a rifle. If anybody comes to my house without a good reason, I intend to try and use it, and that's all.
There have been many of our people across the country from all walks of life who have taken it upon themselves to try and pool their ideas and to come up with some kind of solution to the problem that confronts all of our people. We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we should have to sit around and wait for some segregationist congressmen and senators and a president from Texas in Washington, D.C. to make up their mind that our people are due now some degree of civil rights. I think that the people in this part of the world would do well to listen to Dr. Martin
Luther King and give him what he's asking for and give it to him fast before another faction come along and try to do it another way.
A firebomb was tossed into the home of Malcolm X here in New York City early this morning. The house was heavily damaged, but Malcolm X, his wife, and 4 children were not injured.
3 Molotov cocktails tossed into the home of Malcolm X today. He's the black nationalist leader who was broken away from the black Muslims.
I wanted you to know that my house was bombed. It was bombed by the black Muslim movement upon the orders of Elijah Muhammad. Now, they had planned to do it from the front and the back so that I couldn't get out. But had that one gone through that window, it would have fallen on a 6-year-old girl, a 4-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old girl. And I'm going to tell you, if it had done it, I'd taken my rifle and gone after anybody in sight. The only thing that I regret in all of this is that 2 black groups have to fight and kill each other off. Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand. Really, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand. But he won't. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning. And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane. Absolutely out of his mind. Besides, you can't be 70 years old and surround yourself by a handful of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls and keep your right mind. Now, I am well aware of what I'm setting in motion by what I'm saying up here tonight. I'm well aware. But I have never said or done anything in my life that I wasn't prepared to suffer the consequences for.
I can't describe them, stood up and fired shots. Everybody dove for the floor. I dove myself and crawled over to the side trying to get out from the scene of the shots. And crawled back along the balustrade as shots rang out all over the place as Malcolm's supporters tried to subdue those who had fired upon him. He's now laying on the stage. My agent tells me that he has been shot twice and that he is still alive but feebly.
I saw people crawling on the floor, and so I got down too. Then when I was looking out and I saw someone look in amazement to the front, I knew they had shot my husband.
Could you give me your impressions? I know it's difficult for you to remember right now, but try to remember just exactly what happened.
Well, he had just got up to open up, and the 2 fellas, one was a black Muslim, and I don't know who the other one was because I didn't see him, ran and started shooting, and everybody fell to the floor. Yes, sir.
They were black?
Yes, sir. He got shot in his face and 3 times in the chest.
I was back here. I was setting up chain of command. I didn't see anything.
Chain of command?
That's right.
For what?
Changing posts.
Oh, I see. You were one of Malcolm's guards.
That's right.
And you didn't see what happened?
No, I didn't. I heard the shots. I ran forward. I saw Malcolm hold his side and hold his stomach and fell down.
How do you feel now?
I want to kill somebody. That's right. I want to kill somebody. And before the night's over, if Malcolm dies, somebody gonna die.
Almost immediately after the shooting, New York City police apprehended 2 suspects. One identified by police as 22-year-old Thomas Hagen.
He was caught outside the building, was shot in the thigh by one of Malcolm's bodyguards, and then beaten by anybody who could reach him with fist or foot.
Now the news. Malcolm X, militant Negro leader, is dead. The 39-year-old head of the Black nationalist movement went down in a hail of bullets as he was about to address a group of 500 people in Harlem this afternoon.
Among all black people. He showed the white man where it was at.
Well, why was he
got respect. He meant something to me. That's why I'm down here.
That's right.
What's going to happen now, do you think?
What's going to happen? You're going to get hurt. Your people, my people, it's going to be a whole lot of hurt before this whole thing is over. That's what I think.
Because
of this death. Whoever did it, Muslims or whoever did it, it's going to be a whole lot of hurt.
You've said that you feel that there's an international conspiracy involved here. Do you have any specific evidence of that?
I know. What I've said is that I think it was a political killing and that there may well have been political international implications. And I believe that the questions which are raised in connection with this murder are sufficiently important that there should be an investigation now. And it should be a federal investigation to provide some answers to these questions.
This is American justice. That's right. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy means freedom, why aren't our people free? If democracy means justice, why don't we have justice?
He's a saint, a god. He's my god. Yes, Malcolm X is a hero. Definitely.
I don't think violence solves any social problem. It only creates new and more complicated problems. I think it is also necessary to say that the assassination of Malcolm X was an unfortunate tragedy, and we haven't learned to disagree without being violently disagreeable.
I think for the first time in the history of the struggle here in this country, we had a molecule of hope. Hope in the sense of knowing that we had a heritage, we had roots, we had a motherland to which we could look for. I think he succeeded in calling attention to our plight.
He meant a great deal to me and my people. I'm sorry that a good man is gone. At the first idea of it, I couldn't have cried anymore, I don't believe, if I had lost my mother.
The young generation of whites, blacks, brown, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution, a time when there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and I, for one, will join in with anyone, don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth.